morning and welcome to Viewpoint, your program of personalities, politicians, and perspectives. And boy, we got some personalities this morning. We always try to start Viewpoint with a kudo or two. First, kudos to our new fair queen, Emma Stolzenberg. Nice job, young lady. And to the runners-up and all who participated. They go to a lot of work, so take your hat off and acknowledge them, folks. But we've got a real queen here. She's a queen into politics. And it comes as no surprise at all. You know, political parties, they gerrymander often when the census comes around, and they fuss around and move people around, and they do what they call gerrymandering. And so as a result of that, we lost an excellent state senator when we lost Gary Baumke. They gerrymandered his district so badly that he said, forget it. But we came out a winner because the good folks who do these things saw fit to appoint Sally Literally Turner as our state senator. And Sally was recognized by the Illinois Chamber of Commerce as the best freshman legislator in the legislature. So congratulations to Sally. Comes as no surprise to anybody who knew Sally, especially those who worked with her in the courthouse for years. Well, not too many years. She's not that old. So now we have kudos again. I want to tell you, mothers and dads of kids who are going to District 27 students, you are lucky mothers and fathers because you don't have to worry about a woke school board or work school administration or woke teachers. Our folks in those categories have their feet on the ground. You can be satisfied and tickled to death that you're getting the education that you're paying for. Mr. Loyd, would you...
You can call me Judy if that's more comfortable for you.
Testing, 1, 2. Isn't my mic hot? Go ahead, introduce our nice guest this morning.
Okay, well, from District 27, we have Ashley Phillips, who is the curriculum coordinator for the district, as well as Christa Healy, special education administrator and principal at Adams School. And then off in the background, after a storied career at Tremont High School, he currently ranks in the top 6 athletes in his home, Kent Froebe, who is the superintendent at District 27. So,
and the father of some good athletes, by the way.
Yeah, that's how he only made it in the top 6 of these athletic rankings at home. So thank you, folks, for being with us. Ashley, Christa, since you're in the front here, you want to tell us a little bit about yourselves? We've had Kent here before. Tell us about yourselves and your roles with the district.
I am Ashley Phillips. I have been in District 27 this will be my 6th year, and I grew up in Lincoln my whole life, and that's about it. I'm the curriculum coordinator. I started as the instructional coach and split first grade teaching and instructional coach. So.
Okay.
I'm Christa Healy. I have been in the district for 28 years, so I'm up there. Yes, Bill, I know. I am very fortunate. I have spent my entire career at District 27 and have loved every minute of it. I am a graduate of Illinois State University, go Redbirds, and I started out as a teacher at Central School. I taught for special education for 8 years, and then I was fortunate to be the building principal of Central and Adams for a number of years, around 14 years of both buildings. And then I took the role as special ed administrator and have been doing that along with the building principal for Adams. So,
you know, Christy, I entered Central School at about 1928 or 29 when I was 5, because my birthday was in October, so I got to start a little early. And I can sit here and tell you the name of the principal then. Three names: Clara, Carol, and Shum. Now, don't ask me why I remember that. I can't remember to tie up my tie, but I remember her, and she was a very, very nice lady. But teachers who made an impression on kids, even at that long ago age, you see, though, when you're a good person and you know how to make impressions, here I am at almost 99. I can remember that lady. I can see her in my eye.
yeah.
So, thank you for being with us.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here today. Thank you.
Even though you're from Streeter, you know, that's all. Mr. Froebe, you brought these two ladies because we have something new going on here in the community. And by the way, how's that Ralph Gale Field, the improvements you made to that? that must be really a great thing for the kids that are using it.
You know, we were excited to have, installed the turf last summer, and yesterday was a perfect example. The junior high baseball starting up in the community and at all the schools, and with all the rain we've had, we ended up hosting West Lincoln Broadwell for practice, and CEL had practice there, and then of course our junior high softball and baseball team were able to all get their practices in, even though their fields were kind of washed out. But we ended up throughout the spring and summer, we ended up hosting 103 games, which since I've been here, really, the field's been used minimally, throughout the spring and summer. Sometimes we had some organizations use it, but for the most part, it's kind of set idle throughout that time. And so it's good to see it kind of being used again, and it's nice to get people from out of town to downtown Lincoln. With the closing of our colleges, we're looking for ways to continue to get people to come into town and maybe fill up on expensive gas on their way out. But I know that the high school, they just approved, and they're working on it right now as well. They're going to have a new turf softball and a turf baseball field, so we're looking forward to having 3 fields next spring and summer, that maybe we can host some bigger tournaments and make sure that they get in even rain or
Ralph
shine.
Gale Field has a kind of a special memory for people my age. During the Depression, and it was something like that, that was Merchant's softball league, and they used what they call kitten ball. That thing was about 6 inches diameter, and a bunch of old people out there. My dad and they're out there playing baseball under lights at night. The utility company put up lights for them, and it was a big deal. And so that field goes back a long, long ways in the community. And I thought it was really appropriately named for Ralph Gale. He was a fine gentleman and supporter of kids and kids sports down through the years. He retired farmer in this area, and so
he didn't coach, right? He just attended almost every game down there, is my understanding. So
that's correct. Yes, he just loved it. He was just all around one of God's successes. Right. This is how you can describe him. Go ahead, Mr. Kirby.
Well, we've been talking about ways that the field has been used by the community and other organizations. You folks being in education, obviously teachers have a role in the community and community development. Understand you folks have been working with the YMCA on some programming. Can you tell us a little bit about what's been going on there?
So we're very fortunate to find out there was a grant opportunity to partner with a local entity that provides daycare or after and before and after school care. And Colleen Jadlowski, our CFO, I brought her on last time, I believe. She helped us write a grant, and we secured $350,000 to partner with the YMCA for our before and after school program to really enhance that and enrich that program. So the reason I brought these 2 ladies today is they're going to spearhead that program and really work with the YMCA and be the District 27 liaison and oversee the enrichment program for the before and after school with the YMCA. So I'll let them kind of talk briefly about what that's going to look like, but we're really excited about the future of that that before and after school program that we can provide for our families.
Ladies,
who wants to go first?
With the enrichment program, what we're wanting to do is bring in experiences for the kids, such as like theme weeks and outside people to come in to talk to the kids about different things like animals or what are some of ours?
We hope to bring like science and math experiences where kids can do things hands-on, but make sure that we can incorporate our community members. We have a lot of community people that would be great resources. So we'd like to bring them in just to provide some engaging experiences for our students in the aftercare program, along with including some of our own District 27 members to come and help facilitate that program for us. So we are going to work with the YMCA just to kind of plan our weeks to get our plans organized. And so, like Ashley said, we don't want to spill the beans on all of our fun activities. There may be some field trips where we take the kids out to experience some activities as well.
All right. And will those take place like in a central location, or are there different sites for different schools, or have you worked those logistics out?
Right now, we're partnering with a local church, and so we're housed with one church. So everybody's partnered in one location. Yep.
But currently, is there around 30 or just under 30 students that are involved in the program? And the neat part about the grant that we received is we're able to provide scholarships, and so we'll be sending information out to our families regarding scholarship opportunities where they can get their student possibly in for free. So there'll be more information coming in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
So, but we also want to thank Gil Gannenberger. He's instrumental in the YMCA, and he's been very involved with this process. Bonnie was a former teacher. Christa, you could probably talk a little bit about how involved they are with the school out at Adams.
Yeah, they're working on a butterfly garden. They've done a lot with our butterfly garden there. Gil is the board president of the YMCA, so he's done a lot with that. So Bonnie will hopefully, and Gil will be one of our community people that will do some teaching on our butterfly garden. They're actually going to be doing some things with our students this fall. They'll be inviting some first graders over, teaching about the life cycle of butterflies, doing some art activities with them as well. So,
here's a good example, and I don't mean to stroke you, Mr. Froebe, but and I guess in a way I do. Here's an example of an alert leadership, finding out about a grant. Those with lesser qualities could let those things just slide by and someone go across the desk and go into a wastebasket somewhere. Mr. Froebe being alert to these things, such as the ready-to-fix meals that you inaugurated, I think, a year ago. I always thought that was a really neat thing for these kids to go down to chow line and get something a little different than the normal chow line food. But back to this business of grants. People can, if they're alert to their job and doing their job right, they find these things. And so, salute to you, sir. This inures to the benefit of our kids, and that's why we're sitting here today, because what we're talking about is the benefit of our youngsters.
Well, and we're fortunate to have one of the best in Colleen. She writes a lot of the grants for us, and I just kind of help with some input. But you're right. There's many districts that don't even apply for them, and so we're very fortunate to. We're not afraid to apply for any and all, and sometimes you get turned down, but we've been very fortunate that right now our luck's on our side, and we've been getting quite a few of them, and just to better our students and families.
It's kind of my understanding that knowing how to write a grant is kind of an art in and of itself. So kudos to the grant writer.
Yep.
Go right ahead, Loyd.
So in addition, you were talking about programs that you provide the youth. You've also been busy, not taking the summer off. You've got the summer lunch program that's been happening. What kind of, how successful has that been this summer? Has it been utilized quite a bit?
So for the past number of years, has it been 5 or 6 years, we've been doing free summer meals for any student 18 or younger, and they don't have to be in Logan. They could just be visiting from Texas, and they can come in and get a free meal. But we handed out in the month of June 12,000 meals. So I thought that was kind of record setting for us, and between 600 and 700 a day, and it's a program that's going strong that we look forward to providing every summer, especially with the economic climate of today. Those free meals can go a long way for families, especially those families that have 3-4 young ones. The price of going out to eat or getting groceries is just drastically increasing, and so I hope families take advantage of those free meals every summer.
Again, that's out there on the radar, but unless somebody does something about it, it passes, and so the direct result of it is some kids and needy kids are getting some help. by direct result of somebody doing their job. You're lucky, folks, to have the administration and the teaching staff that we have at District 27. I wasn't blowing any smoke when I alluded to them earlier this morning. We're lucky. If you don't think so, turn on your TV and watch what goes on in other schools.
Exactly.
And if anyone out there has questions for our guest, 217-648-5510 is the number to call. We're talking with Ashley Phillips, the curriculum coordinator of District 27, as well as Christa Healy, special education administrator and principal at Adams School, and Kent Froebe, superintendent. You talked about the economic climate affecting things in education. Education doesn't exist in a vacuum, of course. Also, other things affecting education. We've had this pandemic the last few years you may have heard about. So how has that kind of impacted what's gone on in your roles and affected everything in terms of the programming, in terms of your students' well-being, and even the staff?
Well, with each year, we're hopeful that to get back to some more normalcy, and maybe our lives pre-pandemic. We're hoping this year it looks a little different than last year, and obviously the year before when we had many of our students that were learning remotely. Definitely in-person learning is best for students and student growth, but I'll let Ashley talk a little bit about her role with curriculum during the pandemic and all that she had to do, and the work that we're doing to hopefully close those gaps of learning loss.
We have to give a lot of credit, all the credit, to our teachers. They have worked so hard through this pandemic and not given up and tried to put in as much instruction as possible, even when we were out at 1:45 every day that first year out. They tried to cram as much as they could in, but they also wanted to take care of the kids and be there for them. So there's a lot of social emotional learning that the pandemic has kind of brought to light, and so that's our first and foremost concern. And then we have curriculum. We have our math curriculum that we will, after this year, we will have a kindergarten through 8th grade curriculum that is continuous from the same company, so that continuation from grade level to grade level is very important. We've had it going on in our kindergarten through 5th grade building for 6 years, so the 6th graders this year will have had it since kindergarten. And then my kindergarten through 2nd grade teachers started with a new reading program at the beginning of the pandemic, so I give them a lot of credit for barreling through and just continuing to work hard and use the instructional practices that research has kind of guided us in. And then 3, 4, 5 will be added to that this year, so we've kind of slowly but surely, but our teachers have done a wonderful job continuing that in the classroom.
Yeah, speaking of wonderful jobs, every time we get on air on Wednesday mornings, old fella sits here and forgets that we have sponsors. That's not doing a very wonderful job, so we're going to turn this over to Mr. Ash right now. Right back live in the studios here. The program is Viewpoint here at WLCN 96.3 on your FM dial. Our guest this morning, Mr. Kent Froebe, District 27, Lincoln Elementary School District, doing a hell of a job, and he has a big job there. He's in the Les partner mode. I had a lot of respect for Les because I served on the school board with him for many years, and more years than he'd like to tell you. And Christa Healy, she's special education administrator and the principal at Adams School, and Ashley Phillips, who's a local girl, curriculum coordinator. She's one of those Fitzpatrick kids. And I say that with a little fun but great respect. Now, I emphasize the respect part. Ladies, and Kent, it's nice of you to take your time this morning because they're just doing a whale of a job taking care of the youngsters of our district, and that's the job you're assigned to do. Kent, you mentioned scratch cooking again. We talked about that the last time you were here with your ladies. Tell us a little bit more about what that entails.
So that's a program we started 3 or 4 years ago, and again, Lincoln Lincoln Memorial Hospital, their foundation board has been phenomenal to work with, and they provided the funding to be able to bring in Chef Greg, a chef from Chicago, to train all of our cooks on how to scratch cook. And so Connie Crawley deserves a lot of credit for going through this massive overhaul and change. She's kind of at the helm of this. She's our food service director and has done an amazing job. But yeah, it's when we say scratch cooking, they're shucking corn, they're pattying hamburgers, and definitely the product is the feedback has been very positive. The students, the staff. Occasionally they might get something wrong, but they're open to suggestions, and they try to come back and make it better the next time. But we're excited. We also service Zion Lutheran School. We service New Holland Middletown, and for the first time this year we'll be servicing West Lincoln Broadwell. So we're looking forward to our ladies providing scratch cooking for all those districts.
An innovative idea that inures to the benefit of your kids, folks. Go ahead, Mr.
Yeah,
Kirby.
absolutely, helping make more healthy students. And
Oh, absolutely.
we were talking before the break about the health of students and the mental health and the mental well-being. Ashley, there's some programs I guess you've got going on, or the district has going on to kind of help with that. Can you tell us a little bit more about those?
Our Teacher Institutes on the 15th and 16th of this month, we are starting off the year with a organization called Capturing Kids' Hearts. And it's a great organization that Mr. Froebe sent the principals and I to, and Colleen went to, that we went and kind of listened to what they were going to bring to our district, and we were all hooked by noon, I think. And they focus on the social emotional development of students, but also teachers. I think after this pandemic, it hit us hard even more than other years, and so we kind of made sure that this was put to the forefront of taking care of our kids and our teachers and our staff, so that way curriculum and instruction and all those things go a lot smoother when you have those things taken care of. So we're really excited to bring that to our district, and I know there's a lot of teachers that are excited about it as well.
648-5510. Now listen, mothers and fathers out there and grandparents, here's your opportunity to ask a question of some great school administrators. You're not supposed to end a sentence with a dangling preposition. I'm going to do it anyway. People you can be really proud of. And if I reversed that and said of which you can be proud, they'd say, what's he talking about? Seriously, we are very serious about education in this seat. Have been for a number of years. We're lucky to have the teaching staff at 27 that we do. And your kids are the direct beneficiaries. I suspect this COVID thing, you mentioned it was difficult on the teachers, Ashley. Had to be disappointing to teachers to have kids that may be on the cusp of really achieving something, and then all of a sudden, there we are. We can't go to school for whatever reason. And so you made District 27 made some great adjustments to that. And I'm sure it took a lot of juggling with the juggler of the balls in the air to try to know which way to go with this. So how does it look now as far as the future is concerned?
We have had summer school we always have summer school, but we have added more summer school the last couple of years to help with the COVID pandemic and the gaps that our students have made. And so we had 2 weeks in June that were summer school, and those teachers, it was just from like 8 to noon. They went home with a lunch, and the teachers did reading and math. They focused on those two things, and that was really successful. And then we are actually in our second week of something called Jump Start, which is getting the kindergarten, first and second grade students in the building for this upcoming year. So the incoming second graders, incoming first graders, incoming kindergarten students, so that they kind of get acclimated to school and kind of make up those summer losses. We always worry as teachers about the summer loss, but the COVID loss was a little bit more than what we've ever experienced. But I feel like we have recovered from that pretty well. We still have some kiddos that we still have to keep our eye on and giving them interventions. But like I said, our teachers and our staff have done a great job with interventions and getting our kids caught up. So,
Kent, when this thing first broke, year now plus, did you get much assistance from the state school board? And so advice and maybe telling you how to maneuver your way through
They
this
provide,
minefield?
yes, they provide guidance, and they have throughout the years. Sometimes that the guidelines come out, the day before, which makes it challenging. You know how that goes. But I would say one of the biggest helps and the people that we leaned on the most in Logan County was the Logan County Health Department, and they have been excellent to work with. I've heard horror stories of other health departments that maybe some of the bigger ones that maybe more challenging to work with the schools. They had other things that were more concerned possibly, but our little Logan County Health Department was tremendous, and kudos to them for stepping up and making schools a priority for safe return for schools there. So. And to piggyback the emotional, we are definitely seeing an emotional toll on students and staff. And to piggyback a little bit off of Ashley here, we also have a Mosaic program that the Lincoln Foundation Board, the Lincoln Hospital Foundation Board, helps with, and they provide counseling, extra counselors throughout the year, and they do that for a majority, I think all now of the Logan County school districts. We also are going to have, right when we get back to school, an anti-bullying assembly, and that's sponsored by the Christian Church, and so I appreciate their help with that. We have a guest speaker coming in to meet with all of our schools, and they're doing that across the town as well, and CEL and West Lincoln will be involved in that, and so kudos to the Christian Church for stepping up and recognizing a need as well. So yeah, we've got a lot going on. Getting back to one of the biggest concerns right now is the teacher shortage. And so we have 10 new teachers, 2 of them that will be starting this school year. 2 of our new teachers are not fully certified, but we were struggling to find a special ed teacher. And we just lost our music teacher. He lives in Bloomington Normal area and accepted a position up there, and I understand that, but then that kind of put us behind the 8 ball a little bit, but we were able to find a full-time sub to come in and help us out for this year to get us through the year. But when we have a position open up, unlike even 5-10 years ago when we might get 60 applicants for a geography position or a social studies position, we're getting 1 or maybe none. Wow. And so for those students, those high school students, I would encourage you, consider going into education. There's definitely a job waiting for you when you graduate. So that's a real concern right now, and I know that we're fortunate to have all of our positions filled, but I read horror stories of bigger districts that have 50, 60 positions that are still open. And how do they fill those? And do their class sizes become too large because they're having to combine classes? And how do they manage through that crisis? But we're doing well, and we're able to fill all of our positions right now, and so we're excited for a new school year. And like Ashley said, we kick off the 15th and 16th with Teacher Institute. Next Thursday, we have new teacher orientation. So those 10 teachers that I just discussed, they'll be coming in for a day-long training of how things operate in District 27. So we're looking forward to another school year.
Loyd, if you'll permit me a personal comment, he mentioned music teacher. Mm-hmm. I'll go back to the time when Miss Frances Mantle was a music teacher, and she was a personal friend of my mother's. And Mother was just delighted to have her friend be in charge of Billy in his glee club. So one day she said at the card party, "How's Billy doing with his singing?" She said, "Your kid can't sing, Edna."
That was the end of your music career?
That dashed that hope, so there we go. Go ahead, Mr. Kirby.
Well, I was going to say, we heard from Ashley, Christa being in the special education field. We talked about the pandemic's toll on the general population. I would guess in special ed and special needs students, you've especially had to really work hard to keep those students engaged and keep things afloat there.
We have, the teachers have done, again, an excellent job. They have had to just really learn how to adapt new ways to teach the students. They have really found creative ways to meet the needs of students when we weren't in school. They have actually reached out to parents by phone, by computer. They have taken things to students in their homes if they've needed to, just to make sure kids were getting their materials and making sure that they were learning. Once the students came back to school, they were able to get their needs met. They were doing extra work with them after school if they needed to. And then again, this summer we were able to provide a summer learning opportunity for students. The teachers did a zoo theme with them, and so we created a lot of activities based around a zoo theme. And then at the end of our summer learning opportunity, we took our students to the Miller Park Zoo just as kind of an ending opportunity. So that was nice as well.
And we talked about, did you have a
Oh, I
comment?
thought we had a call-in. Did we not have?
No.
It was something else.
Oh, man.
648-555. This is your last
Ten
chance,
times
folks.
on, we'd have someone calling in.
We talked.
I'll buy you a supper at Old Joe's if you'll call in.
We were talking about the staffing shortage and the need for substitutes. If people are interested in doing that, how would they go about making that known?
So Loyd, along with the teacher shortage, we have the shortest sub list we've ever had since I've been here, and I've been in the district almost 18 years. And so we desperately need people to register to sub. They can stop by the district office. Kim Skelton or Teresa Goff will assist them on how to fill out the paperwork, and then they would have to reach out to the ROE and get everything registered through the our Regional Office of Education in Bloomington Normal. And then I know we pay $125 a day to sub. So
Well, that's not bad money.
that's not bad. We've drastically increased it from a couple years ago just to try to entice people to come out and help us out, because teachers still need to be trained, and they need to go. They need to leave, occasionally for workshops, or they need that professional development. And they're humans. Sometimes they're sick too, and if we can't, that happens. So, and right now the game on the table is if you have COVID, you're out for 5 days, and so when we lose a teacher or a staff member to COVID, it's difficult to replace them right now with the sub shortage. So we could use all the help we can get. I encourage you to stop by the district office, 304 8th Street in Lincoln, and get the paperwork to fill out to be a sub. We desperately need your help.
And there's also other programs like the Regional Office of Education I know has, I was just happened on it on the website, they have a program August 4th, which I guess is tomorrow, Alternative Pathways to a Teaching Career. So if there are people interested in teaching or subbing that maybe didn't go through a traditional teacher education program, there are ways that those folks can get involved as well.
Correct. And I know last year the ROE did a great job of doing like sub clinics or open houses where they met uptown, and were there for a day, and I'm sure they'll be doing the same thing this year. So as soon as we find out those dates and times and where they're going to be located, that just expedites the application process when they're in town here to meet with us. So we'll definitely get the word out once we know when and where they'll be. So,
But there could be some retirees. I asked it. This is in the form of a question, sir. Could be some retirees who had profession, and is that double whatever that is? In any event, without education or background except what they got in their formal education as they pursued whatever they would. Do they have to have education in their background to qualify as a substitute teacher? Go ahead.
No, they do not have to have an education background at all. They can, my husband is a police officer, and he tries to help out one day a week just on his off day. So even if you can only give us one day, we'll take it. So just anything, any kind of bachelor's degree works, but also even if you don't have a bachelor's degree, there's a certification through the ROE that you can get.
So there's an opportunity for somebody who's sitting home in the easy chair, quaffing an extra coffee. I was careful how I said that, Loyd. To think in terms seriously of contacting District 27 and perhaps volunteering to be in the substitute pool, because that's got to be a very frustrating thing for administration to wake up on Tuesday morning and find out we don't have such and such a class filled, and then you've got to do a lot of scrambling around.
So this past January was probably the most difficult in terms of staying in person, because we were coming off of Christmas break, and many of our teachers did unfortunately come down with COVID. And big thanks to our support staff and our subs. They stepped up and ensured that we were able to fill the positions. We might not have had music a certain day because they were subbing in the classroom, but we were able to continue and get through January and the start of February. That was probably one of the most difficult times that we've dealt with in terms of teachers being out, and we were able to get through. So kudos to them for stepping up. And that's something that we've really tried to work on, is staff morale, is trying to keep everyone upbeat about education, because it has been a difficult 2 years. And we were able to, as a district, provide little bumps or bonuses to them at Christmas time and in May, which hopefully went a long way and meant something to the faculty and staff. But we're also partnering with our local union, with our LEO, the district union, to provide kind of staff morale days once a month, where we provide treats. We'll provide ice cream or donuts or different things to them, to just try to let them know that we appreciate all that they do, and to thank them for going above and beyond, because they really have. It's been more than just educating students. It's been cleaning the desk. It's been, they've kind of taken on so many different roles and hats that we do appreciate all that they do for our district and for the students of Lincoln.
And we've been talking about all the, the impact on staff morale, the impact on students, and so forth. Let's spin it positive here. What kinds of things are you excited about for the upcoming year? What are you looking forward to?
I'll go first. I always get excited, even after 28 years, and I get butterflies in my stomach about the first day of school. Just seeing the kids walk through the door, even seeing the teachers walk through the door. At open house, we have open house, and just meeting the new families. There's nothing more exciting than just seeing all the new school supplies, and just seeing the kids running in the schoolyard again, and getting to hear the kids say the pledge. And
but see, with teachers like you, that sets you apart from the average. Thank God we've got people like you with that enthusiasm, and that inures to the benefit of our children. And that's what we're here about today, is how well we're serving our children in District 27. And I constantly beat that drum, and I know I'm beating it to the right tune. Go ahead, Ashley.
I'm really excited about the social emotional part to kind of kick off the school year. Those are my two favorite days, are those institute days. Those are kind of when our staff gets back and kind of gets set to start the new year, and we that morale boost is a big thing, and our district always does such a great job of taking those 2 days for the teachers and getting them ready. And then I'm also excited just to see, it's been amazing to see how much improvement our kids have made the last year and a half through COVID, and how much they have improved with the help of our teachers, all the help of our teachers. And so I'm just excited to just keep that going. So
I would say the same. I'm looking forward to our SEL program, Capturing Kids' Hearts. And I really need to thank our neighboring superintendent, Fred Lamke of Mount Pulaski. He's already started that program at Mount Pulaski and put in a good word for it. And at a meeting I ran into him. He's like, you've got to do this program with your staff. And so I sent the principals, and they came back and said, we've got to do this program with our teachers. And so I'm looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to the Woods Foundation. They provide a 5th grade field trip every year where we go to the Museum of Science and Industry. And one year we weren't able to do it, and then this past year we had to do it in the spring. We're excited to get it back to our original October date. And I have a 5th grader in the county, so I'm looking forward to taking the trip and going up there and enjoying the day. Compliments of the Woods, or thanks to the Woods Foundation and all that they do for our 5th grade kids. So.
Go ahead, Christa.
I forgot one thing, and it's important.
There's enthusiasm coming out
It is.
again, folks.
You know, we have been saying really great things, and I appreciate everything you've said about our district, but one thing that we may have mentioned, our parents have been fantastic through all of this, too. Like, we have fantastic parents. They have been great through the pandemic. They have been very supportive. I know sometimes it's hard when we have to call them and say, you need to pick up your child, or they may have to stay home a little bit longer than you would anticipate, and they've had to really step up when they've had to work at home. And so we have had some very great parents of District 27 too, so I just wanted to say that as well. We have very supportive families, which makes our job easier as well, so we love their partnership.
One proud parent and school board member, Brian Stolzenberg, is out there. Congratulations to Emma. She's a graduate of District 27 and Logan County Fair Queen, so congrats to them. I'm sure they're excited at their household. So,
Well, Christa, that was nice of you to comment about the parents who are supportive and enthusiastic about what your efforts are. Thank goodness they realize how dedicated you all are. Now, not each and every teacher in every building is that dedicated, and we also, we're dealing in numbers. But basically, and that's what we're talking about this morning, is the district attitude about doing their job to do the best they can for your kids. Can't go ahead, sir. You wanted to say something. I thought
No, I just wanted to, as we wrap up here, I wanted to thank you, as always, for having us on. You and Judy, and now Loyd. I can officially thank Loyd for, being a proud supporter of District 27. You guys, you always do a nice job of recognizing the things that are going on and the people that are putting the time in, the teachers and the families and the administrators and the board member, the thankless job of being board members. Everyone's doing the best they can through a difficult situation, especially the past couple years, and I hope our kids will be better for it. So thank you for always having us on and asking us to join you, and we enjoy talking about District 27.
Kent Froebe and Ashley Phillips and Christa Healy, we thank you very much for being with us. By the way, you mentioned Judy. She's on sabbatical, which is a French word. She's just out visiting her family. So, thank you very much for Viewpoint.